What does annual budget development look like at your organization? In many hospitals, the word budget represents that dreaded annual boxing match between finance and operations, particularly when it comes to labor and productivity. Over the years, we have learned to come prepared for a somewhat defensive attitude from department leaders. We understand when they share a story with us about a past budget cycle, when the finance department set an arbitrary productivity target, leaving them either short-staffed or on the naughty list all year long. We have come to understand that an unintentional budget misstep like this can be viewed by some as apathy or even betrayal, and helping the admin team earn their trust again is no easy task. At the end of the day, we know that A players are happiest when they are exceeding our expectations. So let's tell them what they are. What do you think it feels like for them to see their department in bright red on reports all year long? For our best leaders, it's a lose-lose situation, particularly when getting to the green would involve a sacrifice to patient care that they can't support in good faith. In short, thoughtfully setting volume and productivity goals for the next 12 months is critical to more than just daily labor management. It impacts the engagement of our top leaders, and with labor representing more than 50% of total hospital expenses, this will ultimately make or break your organization's financial picture. To avoid common budget pitfalls and support favorable labor performance throughout the year, consider these foundational industry best practices. First and foremost, if you do nothing else, align your budget and productivity system targets. While this sounds obvious, we see misalignment all the time, even in high-performing organizations. Reconciling differences between the financial budget and the operational productivity management system is really important. Number 2 is about PTO. Jury duty, bereavement, you get the picture. Finance departments commonly budget a flat productivity percentage to save time. But when we do this for every month for every department, we set ourselves up for failure. We know departments have more or less new grads versus senior employees, and we definitely know that they have more PTO in November and December than they do in February. Number 3 is less of a hard and fast rule like the others. It's really more like a rule of thumb. 50% flex represents that flexing relationship between volume and FTEs as we grow or lose volume over time. We all know that more patients require more caregivers at the department level. But when we look at the hospital as a whole, it's not 1-to-1. In fact, it's closer to 1-to-2. That's where the 50% flex comes from. If you're thinking that this is due to fixed departments like administration, you're right. After all, we don't hire 2 CFOs when we double our volume. The CFO is an obvious example, but as it turns out, most hospitals only flex about half of their team members. The rest are either fixed or are a fixed portion of a variable department, like a nurse manager. When we use the 50% flex rule, FTEs should be budgeted to grow by no more than half of the percentage growth or the percentage reduction in volume. For example, if I budget my volume to increase by 2%, my FTEs should only increase by 1%. For my leaders watching, I know it sounds like you just lost half of your FTEs, but remember, if we don't get to flex up, we don't have to flex down. While I could talk for hours about labor budget lessons learned, these 3 tips are a great place to start. If your organization is tired of back to budget season and would benefit from a labor budget that is more fact than fiction, check out our website at karacookconsulting.com.